So, hello everyone. This is Sprinkles, and our mindful moment this month is in honor of National Yoga Month. And so, yoga is something we've actually been doing in all of these mindful moments. We are calling this one, it's more mindful movements, but I want to remind everybody that yoga doesn't mean that we have to be moving. I know that seems crazy because we think of ourselves as like bending ourselves into shapes and having to be really strong in a posture to be doing yoga. However, we don't actually have to be doing any of that. All yoga requires is that we take one posture, and that could just be an easy seated position. You could be laying down on your back, you could be standing. And then you ground yourself, come into your breathing, into connection with yourself, and you just draw inward and notice how it's feeling. So we're going to be doing that through a series of four different postures, and they won't take that long, but we're going to make sure that we go through them a little kind of slowly. Yoga is an eight-limb path. And so, like I said, those postures are only one of the limbs. Otherwise, we have seven other parts to yoga, such as breath work, meditation, concentration, self-reflection, and so forth. So let's go ahead and we'll experience it, and I'll stop talking. You don't even really need a yoga mat for this, but just having a place that you're comfortable standing or laying down first parts, because I'll give options for both. Okay. So I'm going to actually go to a yoga mat just because that's will be the easiest way for me to kind of be in one space. I'm going to invite you all to start with either standing up, sitting, or laying down. But before you choose, just kind of take your body and like move it around a little bit. I always like to start by shaking it out and just kind of moving all the stuck energy that is in the body. And then you'll start to just come to stillness. And like I said, if you want to lay down, you could for this very first part, or you could stand up or sit. Feel your feet plugging down into the earth. And then just imagine that you're slowly stacking joint by joint. So ankles above the feet, knees above the ankles, which you can do in a chair. You can imagine it if you're laying down, hips above your feet. And then again, plugging down to the feet, really lift up through the shoulders, roll them back and lift up through the top of your head. And I like to close down my eyes for this part so I can just feel into my body. Now that we're grounded in this pose, which is called mountain pose, and we have a special mindful moment that is dedicated just to this that we'll share called Mindful Mountain, we're going to take some deep breaths in from our feet all the way to the top of our head. Exhale, head down to feet. And just imagine that this energy is circulating. Inhaling feet to top of the head. Exhale, top of the head down to the feet. Do that a few more times, and you could bring in perhaps I am as you inhale, and then say present as you exhale. I am as you inhale, strong as you exhale. Another deep breath in, feeling the postural alignment, noticing how much more expansive you feel, much maybe more light and bright you feel in your body now, and then grounded as you exhale. So, what we're doing with these deep breaths in and out is we're grounding down our nervous system so that we can feel more connected to ourselves. Now, from this grounded place, we're going to take a few sun salutations. So, drop your hands down. You can blink open your eyes. Keep those feet plugged in. If you're laying down, you may want to sit up for this or stand. And we'll begin by just inhaling arms all the way up. And if you have any limitations in range of movement, then you can just stop. Maybe it's here or here. Otherwise, reach real tall, hands touch, big smile, and then exhale, hands to your heart. Good. Now drop your arms down, big breath up, expansiveness, big smile, hands touch, and then pour down to the ground. Into here, this is where you might just go halfway. You could have something to put your hands on, but you just want to kind of like let everything dangle. Now, if you have any dizziness, then definitely keep your head above your heart. And you just want to have a sense of surrender where you can let your head dangle here. Now, slowly root down into your feet, round as you roll back up. Arms float back up to the sky. Big inhale and smile. Exhale, hands pull down to heart center. Okay, we're going to do one more of those, and then we're going to set an intention for the rest of our practice. So, arms drop down, inhale, big sweep to the sky and smile, palms touch. Exhale, hands to your heart. Drop your arms down, inhale, reaching tall, smiling again. This time, exhale down to your forward fold. So maybe it's here, maybe you're able to get your head down a little more, but you want to feel a sense that you're like a little limp and you're letting go. Bend in the knees. Now press into your feet slowly round as you come back up. Arms sweep up to the sky, really big smile, palms touch, and hands to your heart center. Now you can keep your hands here in this namaste position, or you could place a hand in heart on your one on your belly and take a few deep breaths in and out, feeling a sense of connection. Notice your heart beating. Notice how you feel now versus maybe how you started in the beginning. What's coming up for you? Do you feel your strength? Do you feel connected? Do you notice your mind telling you stories that are limiting? And that's okay if that's true. Can you let go of them? Yoga is really about an intimate journey with yourself and what you need. And the beauty of doing it in the comfort of your own home is it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. What feels good in your body? Now we're going to get down onto hands and knees. And if you can't put pressure, like I know sometimes with neuropathy, there's pain in the hands and you might not really want to be putting pressure there, then you can go to a wall to do this, which I'll show you in just a minute. So resume a position close to the wall. For those of you coming to hands and knees, you're stacking your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And we're going to just start with some organic movements here. So you're going to be like circling your head, circling your neck, and you're going to be moving in weird directions. And it really doesn't matter how you move. This is organic and free form. So just sort of like move how is feeling instinctual. And if you are going to be doing this close to a wall, you can use your hands for support and just sort of move those hips, move the head and do what feels good to you. We're going to be going into some cat cows in just a moment in sync with breath, but we want to just loosen things up and do what feels intuitive. And for me, like when I do these hip circles, I'm like, ooh, ooh, right there. Okay. And I might just kind of like stay there for a minute and push into my hip and back and forth as I breathe. Okay, we'll come back to hands and knees and a balanced spine. And then we're going to inhale, drop the belly, bring your gaze forward, and shrug the shoulders back. And then as you exhale, push into the mat, round your spine, tuck your chin to chest. And now continue to do that. Inhaling, arch your back and look forward, and exhale, really round. And the way that you would do this on the wall is very similar. So you're going to keep your arms straight. You're going to inhale, arch your back and kind of look towards the upper part of the wall. And then as you exhale, push and round and curl your chin to chest. And honestly, sometimes it even feels better to do it against the wall. So you could try both and just see what resonates for you and notice how your spine starts to align because you're doing both the extension and the reflect and the flexion movements of the spine. And also notice what comes up for you. It's okay if you're like, oh, well, I'm a little uneven here, or this is hard to put, any sort of weight on my body. Then we're going to take our fingertips forward and drop the head down so you get a big stretch in the shoulders. Take a few breaths in and out. And if you're doing this on the wall, same thing. Walk the fingertips up, drop the head between the arms, deep breath in. You may even want to go out through the mouth. You rinse your shoulders. All that tension, right? Letting go. All right. And then you'll start to come up to your knees and just do a few wrist rolls, letting go of any tension that you had. We're going to start to stand back up. We're going to come into warrior two pose. And so this is going to be with our feet are going to be in like a V. And then you're simply going to turn your right toes, if you have a mat, towards the front of the mat. But if you don't have a mat, just turn them towards the wall. That's, what you click open basically. But you're going to keep this back foot still facing forward. So one foot is facing your sidewall, one is pointed in front of you. Press into this back foot. It's like putting the brakes on. Push into it and then start to bend your front knee. The knee stays right above the ankle there. You should be able to look down and sort of see your big toe. It's opening up your hip. You might be like, ooh, it's a creaky little door right there. All right. Now we're going to feel the grounding in our feet and let the arms float up. Reach through the fingertips towards the side walls and feel your strength. Now breathe in deeply through your nose and out through your nose. We're going to take about 8 breaths here, real nice, long, deep breaths. Notice what comes up for you here. You're grounded and you're strong in your lower body, but can you find a little softness in your upper body? Thinking into your warrior mindset, can you feel confident here? Can you feel strong in your body and your breath? Use that breath and let it keep you present. And notice what's coming up. You may have some of those feelings of, wow, those legs are burning, or I don't like this. But we need to just persevere a little longer. You've got your breath, you've got your body. Notice what is strong here now and stick with that. I know there's also strength in your softness and your vulnerability. Okay, one more deep breath in and out. Nice work. All right. Now we're going to do toes to center. Keep them in a little bit of a wide V here. Shake those hips. We're going to go to the other side. But before we do, let's inhale, arms open, and exhale, hug around. Good. Now inhale, arms open. Now, as you hug, do the opposite arm on top. Good. We're going to do two more. This is called hug asana. You just give yourself a hug, but it's actually really good for like if you're going through any sort of lymphedema as a side effect, for example. This tourniquet motion of like really squeezing and then opening is really good for helping circulation. So you could do this a lot, knowing you're giving yourself self love as you inhale. Exhale, opening and letting go. All right, we're going to turn the toes to the other side. So left toes over to the sidewall, and then this one, your right toes are going to be facing the front now. Again, push back and then bend into that front knee. You can scoot that foot forward to however feels good. And then let the arms float up. Now you know what we're doing on this side. So some of that preparation helps to just know because then you're like, okay, I can do it. I wasn't there forever. So I just need to recruit my breath, feel that grounding. Now deep inhales through the nose and then back out through the nose. Now, you can almost keep your breath audible, like where you feel like you're sighing out, but you're actually breathing through your nose instead. And that's the kind of yoga breath that keeps us strong in our bodies. Now, in this warrior pose, what feels limited to you? And just notice without judgment is the key. Okay, now what feels expansive and strong? Stick with that. Deep breaths in and out. Good job. You got this. We have a few more breaths, and then the last pose we're doing is really relaxing. So, few more deep breaths in and out. And what can you tell yourself for an affirmation here, your last breath that keep you confident in your body? What can you have gratitude for in your body here? Good. Now turn the toes to the side. Ooh, arms come down, shake it out. All right. Last pose. So this is going to be called legs up the wall and it's relaxing. I recommend doing it at night. You can even do it in your bed with your legs up your headboard. Um, and you can also do it with your legs bent on an ottoman. So you can choose. But the way I like to go into it, I'm gonna move my plant over, is I like to kind of go up towards the wall on the side and then start to slowly lay down and then come kind of swing my legs up as I turn. And again, this might be better doing it on a bed or a couch for you and then bending your knees over something. So hopefully you're finding a comfortable position where you can keep your legs up. And this is really good for relaxation. It's also good for digestion. So if you have any sort of like side effects from treatments you're going through, this can help with that. And it's also good for you can circle your ankles around a bit, reducing inflammation. So if you have any sort of pooling going on in the ankles and you notice that you get swelling down there, you could keep your ankles moving a bit before you rest them up. But this just helps to also flow all of this like energy back towards our core and towards our heart and let go of all of that pulls up down on our feet. So you can keep your legs. You may start to feel a little bit of a tingling, and that's normal. Just keep the legs up a little bit longer. And if some of you are feeling like, oh, it's not, that's probably enough for me, you can start to bring your legs down and just lay in a flat supine position or sit back up and center yourselves. So we'll be here for about another minute. And just feel your breath rising and falling. And notice how you're feeling in this moment. In this short period of time, what shifted for you? And what did you notice about yourself and your body? What did you notice about your mind? It's all interconnected. So in yoga, like I said, it's not just about the movements, it's about how we're showing up mentally for them and emotionally. It's how we're circulating our breath. Also about how we're reflecting on our experience and noticing what comes up for us as we do the mindfulness practices. Because really, yoga is just a mindfulness practice that brings balance to the body, mind, and soul. Okay, now we'll start to bring our feet back down. You bring them, kind of curl them into your chest. I like to roll to the side and then slowly push yourself back up. Oftentimes in a yoga class, or I'd say like every yoga class ends with a shavasana or a corpse pose, which we did the legs up the wall instead. But if anyone is feeling like you want to take a little rest after this, you could just lay down after this is over and set the timer for 5 minutes and try to surrender as much as possible and completely relax your body and your mind. And thank you so much for joining me for this mindful movements practice.